Hello, welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, a little bit of laughter, because as we know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our amazing Fresh Starts experts, Aurisha. Aurisha, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Hi, Olivia. It's so good to be here. Yes, so I'm a therapist. I'm a co parent myself. I'm also a co parenting coach and a mediator. So I offer clients and co parents support and healing through their journey through co parenting, as well as what happens next as they navigate, different stages of their relationships. And I work out of an office in Los Angeles, but I can work with people throughout, the world if you want to connect with me. But yeah, it's been a wonderful journey helping co-parents really find a pathway towards creating a secure system in their two homes or in their bird nesting home where they really can see that their kids are thriving. There's a
Mm,
stigma that divorce is bad for kids and that it causes trauma. And that was one of the things that really was a catalyst as to why I wanted to write this book, because my kid was not traumatized. And we went through divorce, right? And I think it's
mhm.
it's more about how you do divorce, not the divorce itself. And so that's what my book is grounded in. It's offering co-parents tools that are based in science and research that really give co-parents what they need, what they need to offer their kids so that their
Yeah.
kids feel secure and that they still have a safe haven, because that's fundamentally what they need, regardless if it's, a divorced home or if it's a home with two parents living in
Mhm.
it. They
Mhm.
still need security, safety, comfort, availability. And so, you know, I hope my book can offer co-parents the tools to do that, even in two homes.
I love your book so much. Can you shout out the title for us just so we have it at the beginning of the episode here? Cooperative
Yes. So
Co-Parenting for Secure Kids. And we I reviewed the book over at Fresh Starts. I adore your book. One of the things I've learned from you, now working with you for years here at Fresh Starts, is really that we don't talk enough about how your relationship with the person that you were married to, right, and had a whole life with, it shifts, and that person's not going anywhere, but you have to like re-narrate, like write that narrative again for that relationship. So what are some things that you could say if somebody's listening to this and they're like, I really want to successfully co-parent? Is it possible? Like, is it really realistic to say, like, yes, we can have an amicable co-parenting relationship? Is that a thing, Arisha?
yes, absolutely. And this is actually in one of the chapters. It's about basically shifting your mindset. It's recommitting to a different relationship with the same person. So
Mm,
you have to really get out of that romantic relationship mindset that's full of hurt and emotions and attachment cables and trying
yeah,
to get your needs met and trying to feel seen and worthy and validated. That belongs in the past relationship that is no longer current. So, in a way, you have to unplug all of those needs from your co parent, from your ex, so that
right.
you can move towards just parenting with this person. And now the goal is only about being parents together. So you have to jump into this idea about being on Team Kiddo. And
Mm,
Team Kiddo means it's just about your kid. It's no longer about you. It's no longer about your co parent. It's no longer about you guys surviving.
right.
It's about your child thriving. And I think
Yeah.
that's the major first shift that needs to happen. You have to say goodbye to your old relationship so you can then say hello to this new co parenting relationship.
Wow, that's like a lot to unpack when you're going through a divorce,
Mhm.
which is why it's so important to have a book like yours that's a resource and to have you as a resource. So, you're saying it can be done. We can have this successful co-parenting relationship. So what would be like one or two things you would say to somebody listening to this? Like, here's something I could do today, right? To just start the successful co-parenting relationship. Maybe you're considering divorce or maybe you're in the process of divorce, right? What could you do right now in this moment to start that activation of that successful co-parenting relationship?
Well, the first thing is to really shift from trying to get your co-parent to repair or fix any hurts that they
Mm,
may have caused you, and to get into therapy and start healing, and to start refocusing and reclaiming your life that is going to look different than it had been before. And I think shifting the focus on your child instead of you is going to be the first step. I talk about it as like the flipping of the triangle.
Mm,
Really, I mean, if you can see me, the two of you were together
yeah.
like this, right?
Yeah.
That's what started your relationship. Your child came into that, which is this upside down pyramid in a way. And to really think about, like, now as a co-parent, this triangle has to shift. So
Mm,
now the child is at the top of it, and it's only focused about their needs, their feelings, you know, everything
right in
concerning
there.
them.
Right.
And then the two sides is about fostering that relationship with your child. So that's the other thing to think about, is like, how can I really stay connected to my child through this experience? And this bottom line here is about that relationship that you're going to create with your co-parent.
Mm.
So reframing the relationship is going to be the first thing you do as you heal and as you stay really present to your child's needs in your own home.
Oh, I love that. That what a great example of like an actual metaphor that you can see. It
Yeah.
also looks like a little house, right? Because you're still
Yes.
a family, like you're still gonna go through things together. I just love that so much. Rewind this podcast and listen to that again because I think that that's such great advice. So, talk to us about your book because it has helped so many people. What are some things if somebody is going to pick up your book today, go order it from the show notes, that they would get out of cooperative co-parenting?
Well, so it offers some clear, like, I offer 6 C's, which is the structure, basically, that's grounded in attachment theory. That if you follow and use those as a framework, you basically are going to be providing your child what they need, right?
Mm,
So the first one is commitment, where I talk all about this mindset shift. The second one is collaboration. It's about getting on the same page, even when there are differences. So we talk about, how do you align yourself or talk about with your co-parent, with your child, when there are different or similar values? How do you make value-based decisions? And how do you
mm,
come up with a collaborative narrative for your child about the divorce that they can feel empowered about it instead of confused or full of anxiety? The next C is clarity, which is all about communication. That's a really big one. Really focusing on clear, concise, respectful communication. And I break down some tips, and we can talk about that later if we have time. Otherwise, you can find it in the chapter on
yep.
clarity. And then we're going to talk about in the book is consistency. So children need, even if they're in one home, consistent routines and consistent structures. And so I break down, why this is important, and some basic, ways that you and your co-parent can create a co-parenting plan that's based on creating consistency in and between both homes. Connection is key to a child's uh, feeling secure in your relationship with them, right? So security is based on when they can feel that presence of a parent and help them move through whatever struggles. So that might be that they're experiencing some grief about the change of their
Mm,
family
mhm.
system. So
Yep.
you move through it with them, instead of letting them feel alone in it. And that's
Right.
what leads to trauma, right?
Right.
So connection is really key. And then community. We all need community for a sense of belonging. You need it as a co-parent, your co-parent needs it, and your child definitely needs it. So you want to foster community that supports your whole co-parenting system, not that divides it. So that's the framework of the book, and you're going to learn lots of exercises and practical tips, and at least give you a pathway and a framework to move forward with.
Yeah, what I love is that like you've lived this, right? Like
Yes.
you actually like went through this. You're not just like preaching this, but like you really are going to talk about it and you do in the book from like a perspective of a mom that lived this, which is really really important because you are part of that community that people are going to use as they go through this. I just love that.
Yeah,
Um
and it wasn't easy, like I'm talking about it now that my kid thrived, like,
right.
our at the beginning, like, my relationship with my co-parent was full of stress and full of tension and conflict, and there were all sorts of emotions that were happening, my own stuff that I had to contend with, and
Yep.
it still happens. I'm still getting triggered and venting to my friend about something that happened, and and it's a constant reminder of how we have to stay grounded in what matters, and that's the kids. And that has been my guiding light, my North Star is like, how do I put my own needs and my own feelings aside? And,
Yeah.
I'm constantly pulling from the advice that I put in the book. And I do offer some like languaging tips in the book as well.
Mm.
So yeah, it's gonna be a never-ending work. It does get easier, but at the same time, we always have to stay on our toes of how to be the best that we can be for our kids.
Like in any relationship, right? Like every relationship has to continue to evolve and grow over time. I mean, I talk about this even, my parents are divorced and now they're grandparents, co-grandparents, right? And so it's like, I have two kids and like things come up with my kids and I know that my parents, though they don't live together, they've been divorced for 30 plus years, that they're worried about the same things, right? That they're thinking about the same things with their grandchildren. Where are they going to go to high school? And can we make sure that they get the resources that they need and blah blah blah. And it's fascinating to watch that. Just like, it's generational and it's
Yep,
you're never going to grow out of it. Right? It's like
right.
that person's always going to be there. So it's just fascinating. So Arisha, where do you work? How do you work if people would like to get in touch with you?
So you can contact me through Instagram at Cooperative Co-Parenting. You can find me online at orishasmolarski.com. You can you research my book, Cooperative Co-Parenting for Secure Kids, that you can order anywhere that you buy books. And yeah, it's pretty easy to find me.
Yeah, we'll have all the links. And of course, you can find Arisha at Fresh Starts in our expert guide, and we'll have her link to that in the show notes as well. Arisha, if somebody's listening to this and going through a divorce or considering a divorce, what would be some words of encouragement that you could leave them with?
Yeah. So one thing that I think about is that, for one, you want to think about this as a team and that you are now in a business or nonprofit relationship with your co-parent.
Hmm.
You know how to do that. You've been there.
Hmm.
So using some of those strategies that you incorporate at the workplace with your co-parent are going to be very helpful. And also that it does get easier, that this is
Hmm.
an opportunity. Struggle is
Yeah.
always an opportunity for growth and for healing and for forward motion. And the other tip and word of encouragement is that it only takes one parent to provide a secure attachment with the child. So you be that person in your own home. We cannot change our co parent, but we can definitely create the system and the security in our own home. And it is powerful. And so focus on what you can do instead of what your co parent is doing or not doing. And your
Hmm.
kids are going to really, really benefit from that. And
Yeah.
also, your current reality is not your final destination. It's
I
just the
love that.
beginning, and it does get easier, and you don't have to do this alone. There's community. So, thank you
I
for
love that.
creating community.
Oh, yeah, I love that. And also, I love what you said. Like, it's not the divorce that does it, it's how you do the divorce. And I've been saying that for years. It's not like the actual divorce that
Right.
screwed me up and I was in therapy for years. It was the way my parents love you
Right.
guys, but it was the way that they handled the divorce afterwards, right? So it's like, it's not the act. So for anybody's listening to this and feeling that sense of guilt or whatever, it's not the divorce that affected me or many, many kids in this way. It's kind of the aftermath of how everything was handled. And I highly recommend picking up Arisha's book, following Arisha on Instagram. You have so much great support that you give for free over there as well. Listen to any podcast she's on. You are a wealth of knowledge and stability when it comes to all of this. And if you're a parent that is going through a divorce with a kid, 100% follow Arisha, get in touch with her, read her book because it will make you feel like it's just so empowered and that you can really like support your family through this. So we appreciate you so much, Arisha. We're so happy that you are part of our Fresh Starts community. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.